So here's a simple strategy for you to increase your credit score and to thicken or boost your credit profile. Two separate things, not always spoken about separately. A lot of times they're grouped in together. So we're going to give you a simple strategy that you can utilize to take care of both of those things at the same time. And if you guys remember, we already spoke about 3 different banks where you could get free money from. One of the reasons why we like to share these free money bank plays is because if you're looking to build your credit, repair your credit, boost your credit, it allows you to never have to come out of pocket to be able to put some of these strategies in place. So DeAndre is going to step in and start talking about one of them. We're going to go back and forth, but something that we both personally have utilized on our own personal credit profiles yep. and helped other individuals to do to, man, what would you say like the increases that we've seen with
so
scores?
Before we even get going with that topic and everything, I wanted to say the videos that Adam was mentioning is actually on our Instagram.
Great
it's on
point.
Dre Auto Consultants. If you haven't already, go follow Dre Auto Consultants at Instagram.
And we'll link it. We'll link it in the description.
We'll link it in the description so you guys can actually have it. But what we want to go ahead and talk about is the players loan stacking. Players loan stacking is actually one of the great financial plays that they don't even tell you about. They don't even offer it.
It's a good hack.
It's a great hack to beef up. So if you're that person that actually have, some money, not even that much money, you can actually beef up your credit profile. And the credit stacking loan essentially is a primary. So a lot of you guys probably already know authorized user, those things there. Banks already getting real caught on with the authorized users, those things.
The days of throwing 5 authorized users on your credit report and seeing your score go through the roof and you be able to get approvals for credit cards or loan products, those days are over.
Exactly.
Credit banks, regional banks, big boys, credit unions, they're all hip to that.
Exactly.
So just doing that by itself isn't going to work anymore. And that's why this strategy helps and it's so important.
It's dope because of the fact too as well is that the authorized user, we really stick with 1 or 2. The only reason why we're using the authorized user is for the history. Because we already know that the player's loan, the stacking of it is going to bring down your years of how long you've been in debt. Alrighty, so it's the history because it's a lot of things that goes on your report that it plays a big factor. It's just how long you've been in debt. Okay, essentially, it's how crazy that may sound, but that's what banks look at, and that's essentially what you use the authorized users for. So 1 or 2, no more than 2. But the players loan stacking is when you take an amount of money. We're going to use real simple numbers, $1,000, right? So if you take $1,000 and you put it in your savings account. Now, one thing I want to do, let you guys know is that it's a credit unions. Credit unions normally does the players loan stacking. Any credit union you may have, Navy, I know that's what I personally use for my players loan stacking. And how it actually works is that you put the money into the savings account. And then when you put the money into the savings account, you will call and say, hey, I want to go ahead and actually use my own money in the savings account to go ahead and actually put that essential amount, that $1,000, and you can actually have that reflect on your consumer report as payments, monthly payments. The key is having that $1,000, you taking out 10%. You leaving 10% on there. So if I have $1,000, I'm leaving $100 on there. But essentially, what it's going to do is going to reflect on your report as $900 being paid to that $1,000 loan. But you have 2 years from that date, 3 years from that date to pay that $100 back. But every month that goes by, it's saying that it's a good history, good history, good history. So you can take that loan and you can go ahead and do another one. You can do it's no limit to how many times you can do it, but of course you want to be mindful of the limits because, like I said, it goes against your history of how long. And the more, I don't want to talk too much in regards, but I want to make sure you guys picture it, is that the more loans you have, the less of your history is going to reflect, and that's not going to be good because too many players loans is not really that good. All it is just a benefit of boosting up your credit score of a primary.
Age makes up about 35% of your credit score.
That's a big percentage.
So they look at your profile and they have it broken down into a pie of 100%. And there's about 5 or 6 different items, and we'll put it on the screen so you to see it visually what makes up that pie. But age is very important. So the more accounts that you add, obviously your age is going to come down.
Exactly.
If you had one 5-year-old credit card and that's all you had on your account, you have 5 years in history. Right. But if you open up one pledge loan, now just by adding that, you cut your age into 2.5 years. Exactly. You add another one and another one and another one, you could very quickly go from 5 years in age to 1 year in age. So that's why everything that we are going to talk about is important, and it's going to meet different criteria to help increase your credit score, but also thicken your file. See, one of the big misconceptions is people are in love with a number, a credit score. The reality is,
how you leverage it.
A 700 credit score or a 750 or 760 credit score on a very thin file is not as good for you to have as maybe a 680 or 690 on a very thick, diverse credit file.
Yep.
The bank's going to say, oh, this person has been trusted with 20 different lending products over a 20-year period. We'd rather give them the bag than to give this brand new person who only has one credit card with $1,000 limit, but they got a 760 credit score and they could write it on their shirt and walk around like they're Bobby Big Bucks.
Yo, for real.
But the bank don't care about that.
So essentially look at it as your adult report card.
Yep.
The same thing with high school when you had a report card, and if you was taking a high honor roll, you was taking all these elite classes, it was better yet you would be placement in a bigger university.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So if you was taking just basic math, basic reading, all these other things there, then
that's funny.
That's
funny you say that.
Oh,
just because it's funny. I coach football too, and I got a lot of guys who be bragging and showing their report cards, and sometimes they be showing straight A's, and I'm like,
what classes you take?
I know what classes you take, bro. Like, who you capping for?
So that's essentially how you look at your report on your consumer report, because if I'm a bank and I'm a person you trying to get money from, and I'm looking at your report and you just, the biggest thing you have on there is $2,000, but you asking me for $7,000. I'm like, you never had $7,000 to go ahead and show me that you can go ahead and pay that off. So and I fell into victim of that when I first got into the credit game years ago. But with that being said, I'm thinking I'm 780, you know what I mean? And then long story short, I didn't know I had baby credit. My 780 was, you know what I mean? The highest credit card I had was $4,000, $5,000. So essentially, if I wanted to go ahead and get any type of loan or any type of funding, that's all they essentially was going to give me is that 4 to 5, because that's all I was good for. Correct. I never thought about every 6 months to increase the credit card, even though I don't even need to use it, just to increase it, to leverage it in case if I did need to use it. Because now when I had the chance to go ahead and use it, well, guess what? I thought I was going to get a bigger enough bag because I had a 780, but I didn't have the thickness of the credit profile. But this play right here is essentially just is going to get you to the next level. And it's a process you're going to have to take. Now you can of course jump leap that to that process if you have enough capital to go ahead and play with it, but that's a different story. But if you don't, then that's different levels you want to have to take. But of course, we're here at Radikal Consulting. We can go ahead and jump that number 2 as well to a higher frame in a low enough time too as well. But
no, you're spot on, bro. You're spot on. And it's funny you say that, because I was gonna add something to that in a second. So the strategy is this: you want to go ahead and do a pledge loan stack. You want to do an authorized user, and you want to do 1 to 2 secure credit cards. And we'll break down each 3 of those, because together
how many
they're going to help. They're going to help probably 2. I would say maybe 3, depending on what's already on your credit profile, and because of and with them being primaries. But everything is going to kind of play together and tweak the system or tweak the algorithm a different way. So the pledge loan stacks, and all we're saying is Navy Fed calls them pledge loans, but it's a collateral
It's
loan.
a collateral loan.
And you're collateralizing the loan with the funds that are available in your savings account.
Yeah. So you're essentially using your funds to go ahead and boost up your credit.
Yep. So some of you have a credit card or two, but you have no loans on your credit report. This is a way to be able to add multiple loans onto your credit report. So now you can get approved for a loan of some level, and now you're in the game.
And this is my quick thought to go ahead and actually give it to you guys too as well. And if you're a type of person that says, I don't have that type of money right now, but don't you get paid a monthly, check from a job that you actually work? Well, guess what? Essentially, you can take that monthly check and run the pledge loan with that, and you can get the money right back. They're going to give it to you right back.
Here's the thing, very important. You're not losing out on the money. This is why it's so key. DeAndre said $1,000. So you could right now, you may have $1,000 in your checking account right now.
Yep.
Move that over to your savings account at the credit union that you're with. Call up and ask for a pledge loan or a collateral loan. Within 24 hours on your online billing, you're going to see that loan pop up. And that loan now is going to be $1,000.
Exactly.
Now, the savings account is going to be deducted $1,000, but your checking account is going to have $1,000 in it from the loan.
Exactly.
You then turn right around 24 hours later, if you want, and pay off 90% of that loan. Typically, within another business day, that 90% is going to be made available back into your savings account.
Exactly.
Now, let's say you set that original pledge loan up for 3 years. You now paid 90% of it back. You won't have to make an actual payment on that extra that last $100 for years. But every month, it's now going to report that it's paid, that it's paid, that it's paid. And you just let that sit there and go. Now you take that $900 and do the same exact thing again. Pay off 90% of that. Now let's just keep numbers simple. You have $800 left. You have 2 pledge loans that are added, and I can't speak on every credit union, but Navy Fed typically reports them to your credit report within about a week.
Yeah.
You'll see them already hit your credit report, and they're going to hit 90% paid off,
Exactly.
which is incredible. You're going to see your score go up, and you're going to see your profile start to get thickened. Now let's go on to the next step, an authorized user. DeAndre already spoke on the importance of an authorized user.
Mm-hmm.
It's for age, and it's to show a high limit credit card on your file.
I totally left that one up, man.
Don't got to put a bunch of AUs on there.
No, you don't.
Because they're not going to help you. They're going to probably end up kind of hurting you because they pull your age down too much.
Yep.
But now we offer them for sale, but you don't have to go through us. You may be able to reach out to a friend or family member that will add you on as well. Some people don't like getting into that conversation.
Exactly.
That's what we're here for. If you're someone who has access to those types of individuals in your life, then take advantage of it and use it.
Another thing, I don't want to cut you off there, but it's really important too as well when you get an authorized user. Don't get an authorized user that's $2,000.
That's I was about to say that. Yep.
$4,000. You know what I mean? When you want to put an authorized user, make sure it's over $10,000.
As long as let me say it this way. As long you have to figure out what is the purpose of this authorized user. We can give you information, but your credit profile is your credit profile.
What is your ultimate goal?
What is your ultimate goal?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
We personally recommend getting one that has a high limit and a lot of age. But that's going to cost more money. Yeah. Understandable. Mm-hmm. Some people might need one with a lot of age, but they have good limits with their other things. So they might say, okay, I'll take a $2,000 authorized user, but it's 20 years old. Now I got a lot of age.
Exactly. And you can also use it to offset your debt to income.
And that's what I was about to get to.
The debt that you have. So if you have a person, because another thing is the credit card utilization is a big thing when it comes down to your credit.
Remember that pie that we talked about? Exactly. That's on there. Go back and look. That's on there.
That's on there.
About 35% as well for that.
So now when you look at it this way, is that now if you have $15,000 in debt, whatever the case might be, but if I have 2 authorized users, that's a total of 50. You can go ahead and actually do the math, and it's going to put your utilization down tremendously. And that's another way that's going to boost up your credit score too as well, that people don't realize that or don't really know, because we never talk this information. And really, it's real simple. Don't overthink it, and just and just listen to what what we've been giving you guys
So
already.
here's some simple math for you guys to do, right? There's two numbers I'll give you and then I'll explain it. One is going to be 30% credit utilization, and then one is going to be 10% or lower utilization.
Right.
A buzzword is you want to stay under 30% when it comes to your utilization. So what do we mean by that for those that might not understand this terminology? Let's say you have $10,000 in credit card limits, and then you have only a $3,000 balance. You would have a 30% credit utilization. 3,000 of the 10,000 is being used.
Mm-hmm.
Once you start to get over that 30%, your credit score is going to start to take a hit. I know it's crazy, but that's the way that these credit reporting agencies like to have their algorithm run. Now understand, that's credit score. Now let's say that you're looking to go get some type of funding.
That's different.
You really want to keep your utilization under 10%,
Mm-hmm.
because what you're showing the bank is, I responsibly know how to use this credit. You can give me 100, I'm only going to use less than 10% of that.
Yep.
So you want to put these things into your own perspective. Now, to give an example of what DeAndre just explained is this. Let's say you look at your credit report, and let's say you got, hypothetically, $10,000 in credit card debt. And let's say that you have a $10,000 in limits. You now have your cards maxed out. And the reality is, in 2023, a lot of people are in these types of scenarios. That's the reality. But you're not going to be able to get nothing from a funding institution, and your credit score is taking a massive hit because of that. So here's how you can kind of offset that to a degree. Let's say you went out and you got 2 authorized users, and those authorized users each were $10,000 each in limits, and you add them. So now you have a total of $30,000 in limits, but you're only using $10,000. You didn't change nothing with your current one credit card, but by adding those 2 $10,000 each authorized users, you now have brought your overall credit utilization down from 100% now down to around 30-ish percent. Mm-hmm. Now your score is going to go up, and that may give you the opportunity to be able to go and now get access to more funding. The reason why I emphasize the may,
because they may be looking at,
banks may still look into your actual file and say, well, wait a minute, he just added some authorized users, but his primary card is still maxed out. So it's a way for you to give yourself a better opportunity to get some yeses along the way of starting to get that primary credit card limit balanced down.
And that's why it's important too as well for the players loan. And that's how it can actually help you in regards to that. Because if they look at the players loan, it's not going to report as a players loan. It's going to report as a regular.
Great point. Great point.
It's going to come up as a regular loan. So now, essentially, if I'm on the outside looking in, I'm looking at the $1,000. I'm not looking at it. It's this person, he using his own money. It's not going to come up like that. It's like you're taking a loan from the actual bank. That's the key thing. So now, when you actually have and you hide in those other utilizations, that's why the players loan can really essentially help you if you have enough capital in that players loan. But yeah, man. So another thing too as well is the secure credit cards.
Secure credit cards are big. So let's just walk down the same road we've been walking down. Mm-hmm. DeAndre started with $1,000 and told you to get one pledge loan. Right. Pay 90% off. You now have access to $900. Mm-hmm. You got your one pledge loan. You got another pledge loan. You pay that off. Let's just keep numbers simple. And now you got $800. Now you went and let's say you went and got one authorized user and it cost $300. Now you got $500 left. Now you can go and get secured credit cards. Secured cards are a great access point to get you in the game with a financial institution, with the ecosystem. Almost every bank offers a secured credit card that we can think of. So now you stack the credit cards, and all stacking is getting multiple of the same thing back to back to back.
Players loan, secured cards are two different diversifications when it comes down to your consumer report. So credit cards is going to be different from the pledge loan. So now there's going to be like, oh, this person is responsible for a loan. Oh, this person is responsible for a credit card. And of course, a lot of people have the car payments and all those other things, which is going to diversify your whole profile.
Diversification is key with the
It's a key
profile.
thing
Yep.
because now you don't have all your eggs in one basket. If you're a person that actually has too much loans, then they're going to give you less of an amount when it comes down to a credit card play.
Yep.
If you have too many credit cards, they're not going to give you that much when it comes down to a loan. But that's why it's so good to have diversification when it comes down to your consumer report, but overall too as well for your lifestyle.
Yep.
That's diversification
Yep.
is the biggest thing, especially when
Great,
you're talking
great
about
point.
investments.
Great
But that's
gem.
another
Great gem.
that's
a big bar right there.
That's another thing that that's another conversation itself. And if you guys want more information about that, hey, feel free to comment. I mean, that's what we are here. Just subscribe, like.
That's a great point. That's a great point. If there is a topic that y'all want to hear about, put it in the comments.
Exactly.
And we'll speak on it and really
and
give
if you have questions, we can piggyback on your questions too as well. So because essentially what Dread is here for is to help our community, help the people that want to grow and elevate their thought process to a whole different way of thinking, and essentially just giving out free game. So a biggest thing in what we was actually piggyback on off of and the secure cards. I know you was actually talking before I even started talking about the secure cards.
Kind of breaking it down.
We was breaking it down and everything, man. If you can go ahead and actually piggyback on that, that would be good, man. Because man, we just all here for each other. That's basically what it is, man. We ain't trying to gatekeep. We don't gatekeep.
That's the key. That's the key, man.
We don't like gatekeeping.
This financial literacy space, man. Here's the reality, and this is what I realized. And I don't want to get off topic, but we didn't come from much personally growing up. We looked around, and the sad reality is a lot of the people who are friends, family members, came from our same communities are still in the same situations that they were when we were growing up. And what we realized was that it's only because of lack of information. And what we found, unfortunately, is especially in our culture, that a lot of the people who have the information in this financial literacy space, sometimes they like to gatekeep the information for whatever reason. And we're not even going to get into that, but we don't believe in that. So we have a lot of services that we can help people with. We help a lot of people for a cost, but we want to give as much as we possibly can as well, because we know the more we give, the more is going to come back anyway.
Exactly. The more you give, the more you receive.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? I'm a biggest firm believer on that. And of course, a lot of people cannot afford, you know what I mean? And it's okay, you know what I mean? But that's why we provide so much, free information. If you, like I said, we will respond back to your comments if you have any questions. And if you know what I mean, if it goes there, go ahead.
It's crazy because we give a lot of the free game that we charge people for. I want you to understand that. Some people just don't have the time or the want to do it themselves. So that's what we're here to help.
Exactly.
But we would rather you go and do it.
Do it yourself.
We love getting messages from people who say, hey, we took your reel, we took your video and I applied them. My score went to this, or I did this, or I did that. Or because of you guys, I went and followed step 1, 2, 3, and now I got my first business started. Or that's amazing. And we didn't make a penny from that, but we know the karma that we put out into the world, that God's going to come back and bless us tenfold because of that. So not to just to kind of let y'all in a little bit on the way that we think, but coming back to the secure cards, that'll be the final step in this process. So now you should have, if you followed what I was saying earlier, $500 sitting in your bank account. You got 2 pledge loans, both paid off 90%. You got an authorized user that is now on your credit report. Now, I will say this, authorized users sometimes can take up to 45 days typically is what we see. A lot of times
nowadays it's starting to take a little
longer than it used to. But if you can get it in before the reporting date, then typically it will show up once they report to the credit reporting agencies. But sometimes it may take a whole nother billing cycle. But just so you know. But now you have $500 left. Now you can go and stack a couple secure cards. What we typically recommend is the same bank or lending institution where you got your pledge loans from. Call them up and ask them or tell them that you want to open up a secured credit card. You open up the secured credit card, and let's say for example's purposes, it's $500. Now they take your $500, they put it on hold, and they give you a credit card now that has $500 on it. The key is you don't go crazy with the credit card.
No.
Key is you don't go crazy with the credit card. I got to say that twice for the people in the back. You want to use the credit card and pay the credit card off. Use the credit card. Literally, go get some gas. Make sure you have that amount in your bank account.
Yeah.
Pay off the card.
If you need to go ahead and pay a bill with it, go ahead, because the bill got to be paid in the first
Make
place.
sure that you have the cash in your bank account to pay it off right away.
Yeah, so now you can essentially just steal the points that they actually give you.
That's it.
With the card, depending on what card you actually have too as well. So.
Now you're using the card a little bit. Use it, pay it off. 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 Now you're not carrying no balance. Now, how you want to run this, you can. So some people literally open up the first secured credit card and then close it right away. Now you have a $500 credit card that's reporting to your credit report that is closed. Open but closed, but you're showing that somebody gave you a credit card.
Yeah.
But now you turn right back around and open up another secure credit card.
But I suggest if you actually have and not trying to be funny or anything like that, but if you have a lower amount, like a 2,000, 1,000, 1,500, 500, whatever the case might be on a secure card, I would say not close it. I would just say go ahead and actually.
It depends on how you want to do it. So if you're stacking and you're using the same amount of money, you want to open one, close one.
Yeah, I got
open another, close one, and then leave the last one open.
But if you have just one,
if you just have one, and you're just saying, I'm gonna go get a secure card, you want to go get that secure card and keep that, because here's why DeAndre's saying that. Typically, if you use that credit card, and you can ask before you open up the secure card what their rules are when it comes to this, but most credit unions and banks, after 3 billing cycles or 6 billing cycles of you using that card responsibly, they will go ahead and reimburse you the full amount of your secure card and keep the card open with that balance on it. That's key right there. So for the individuals who might have more money to play with, if you go and open a $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 secure card, and let's just say Navy Fed says, use this card 6 months responsibly, and then we'll unsecure it, they're going to give you back that $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 in 6 months. Now you have a $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 open credit card.
I don't even think y'all heard that. That's you double up your money within 6 months. So essentially,
what happens though when they apply for a credit card somewhere else now? What's going to happen? What's the
so now the benefit of that too as well, when you open up another credit card for somewhere else, what they're going to do, because they in competition now. So if you actually with Navy, you go with the Chase, or you go with one of these big time banks, and they say, oh shit, he got a $20,000, $15,000, $10,000 credit card limit. And we got to beat that, or we got to do better than that, because we want him to use our card so he could pay interest on our card. You got to know it's a big business. It's big business. So essentially, the competitive spirit that they have is in your benefit. It's in your benefit, because now you can go to Santa, for instance, get that 10, 15.
Watch this. I'm sorry. How many banks do you have a relationship with currently as we speak?
I have 5. So I just have 5. That's just me personally.
He only has 5, right? Only 5. So let's say DeAndre said, I'm going to go and get a $10,000 secure card with one of the banks that I know he banks with, is Navy Fed. In 6 months, they unsecure that card. So we're literally shooting this at the beginning of May. 6 months from now is somewhere in the early winter, right? What's that, like November, something like that? Somewhere right there. Let's say November, whatever. Don't hold us to that. Somewhere like that, right? November. November now, he has his $10,000 back, and he has a $10,000 open credit card with Navy Fed. What are a few of the other banks that you have relationships with already?
Oh, I got Truist.
So Truist, who else? What's another one?
American Express.
American Express. What's another one?
You said we already said Navy, right?
You said that you're USAA, right?
Yeah, I mean, USAA.
And you're with PenFed too, ain't you?
Yeah,
I think I'm more than 5. But let's use a few of those. And I'm playing with DeAndre for a second, but I really hope you guys understand our comedy, but the seriousness of it. So $10,000 that was started with a secured credit card at Navy. But now DeAndre, who he already has a relationship with these other banks. Relationships are key. Get in bed or start. That got me in trouble in the past. Start dating. Build a relationship first. Then get in bed. Build a relationship with the bank first. You don't want to get in bed first. life bar right there.
Oh shit.
So build these relationships before you go to ask for money or funding from these banks. So DeAndre has these relationships already. He started with a $10,000 secure credit card with Navy Fed, but now he goes to USAA. He applies for a credit card. They see that he has a $10,000 credit card. So let's say they at least just match it. Typically, they want to beat it, but let's say they match it. 10,000 from USAA. Truist sees the same thing. They're going to say at least 10,000. Penn Fed's going to see the same thing. They're going to say at least 10,000. And American Express, oh baby, when they see that he has 10,000 around the board, they're going to probably say 20 and give him access to 5 or 6 different credit cards or charge cards that they offer.
Then you can go ahead and actually piggyback it off for your business too as well. But that's a different.
But think about that. Yeah. I hope y'all didn't miss what he said there. Think about that. It all started in May from him just starting with a $10,000 or $5,000 or $2,000 or $500, whatever number it is that you have, secured card, but then leveraging it. And literally in 6-7 months, he now has 5, 6, 7x that amount and has his original amount of money back available to him to do whatever he wants with.
What they call you having your money work for you now. You playing it in a smarter and an easier way because you're still going through your life with a 9 to 5, going through everything while you're still building. And that's the biggest thing when you're talking about investing. This is a form of investing. It's investing it in yourself. It's investing it in your consumer report. And within that 6 months, you're going to look back and be like, dang, I'm glad I actually made that decision because I know a lot of times where I did initially, take out a step on an investment, and then I'd be like, damn, bro, look at my, bro, I'm glad I did that
when I did. Yep.
And then I have a lot of times too as well when I didn't do an investment and I shade, man, I shoulda, woulda, coulda, and didn't. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, you will never lose in this game. You will never lose in this game because you have to play. You have to play. You have to first pay to play. That's my biggest thing, man, is that you have to essentially have some capital to go ahead and actually play the game. Because at the end of the day, when you playing basketball, you got to have your 2 legs. That's a form of payment.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
That's a form of payment.
You ain't going to be out there with no shoes on. You ain't going to be out there with no socks.
Exactly. You got to have these in your arms too as well because, bro, if you ain't got that, you know what I mean? But that's another topic in itself. But we thank y'all for tuning in. Radikal Consultants.
Radikal Consultants. Signing out.
Appreciate y'all.